This is an Evergreen Media Network studio production.
No one told me that.
No one told me that.
No one told me that. In pregnancy highs and lows,
We are tackling the I didn't knows
it's the No One Told Me podcast
with Janay.
and Tay.
Hello, everyone. I am obviously not Tay. I am Megan McFall. I'm the CEO of Indian River County Healthy Start Coalition, and I am filling in for Taylor today because she is a little under the weather. So hopefully I will do her proud. So it's definitely been a whirlwind of a month, and I'm so excited to jump into this episode today and to celebrate Women's History Month. Super exciting. I'm proud to be a woman. I'm proud to work within Indian River County Healthy Start and be amongst so many strong women. And speaking of women and the amazing creations that we are, Janay, I think you have some news that you want to share with us?
I do. So this August, my husband and I will be welcoming baby Ava. So we're so excited. It's my first girl. So this will be a new journey because I'm used to being a boy mom.
She's going to soften your heart like no other, and DJ's going to be a great girl dad.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's growing on to me.
Very excited for you.
Thank you.
So today we are going to broach the subject of the importance of childbirth education, and we're excited to introduce our featured guest today, Chaka Jones. Chaka was born and raised in Indian River County. She recently received her master's degree in nursing education from Capella University in March of 2023. While attending Capella, she was inducted into the National Society of Leadership and Success due to her strong academic profile, which is not surprising to anyone who knows Chaka. She has been in the healthcare field for over 15 years. She graduated from Indian River State College in 2009 as an LPN and then as an RN in 2014. She currently works as a labor and delivery nurse in labor and delivery at Cleveland Clinic Indian River Hospital, is one of Healthy Start's Grow Doulas, and she also participates in all of our childbirth education classes. Her motto is self-education is this key to self-advocacy. And so thank you, Chaka, for joining us today.
Absolutely.
I'm super happy to have you. I've known Chaka for many years and actually had the pleasure of hiring her onto labor and delivery several years ago. As you know, we're really excited for you to be here. So
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Chaka, as we know, we all know about feeding our community with education and knowledge, free of charge. That's what we're all about. So one of the ways Healthy Start does this is through our childbirth education classes. Can you share the importance of this in the prenatal period?
Yes, I think that childbirth education during the prenatal period is very important. It gives the mother empowerment to be able to self-advocate for herself. Not only can she self-advocate for herself, but she can also understand the process that her body is getting ready to go through. We see the outward appearance of pregnancy and the belly getting bigger and the weight gain, but internally the hormones are raging, they're changing, they're trying to prepare for the fetus that is growing inside of the mom. So just being able to take childbirth education classes to understand what your body is going through is amazing. And then not only to understand what your body is going through, but to be able to know what to expect during your pregnancy journey.
That's wonderful, Chaka. That's a great explanation. And, just the overall importance of making sure that women know what to expect when they're growing a child and when they're giving birth. And we have a motto that knowledge is power, right? And if you don't have that knowledge, then how are you going to be an advocate for yourself? So can you help the public understand what trimester should the mom start prenatal care? And does she come alone? Does she bring a support individual? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I think a good trimester to start childbirth education classes would be the second trimester. The second trimester, you're far enough along to start feeling the effects of pregnancy. You're showing and you're expecting a baby, but it's not too far out to where you feel rushed to go out and get the education. So the second trimester is kind of like that in-between period. But even at the beginning of your first trimester, when you find out that you're pregnant, there's so many different apps out there that you can download to your phone that can,
great point.
Show you like, oh, your baby is this big and this is what you can expect your body to be going through at this time. But as far as getting out there and educating yourselves, the second trimester.
Great point. Is it ever too late to get the education?
It's never too late.
Perfect.
You can be 36 weeks and decide, hey, I feel like I want to go out and get some education, and it's perfect because all knowledge is good knowledge to go into your birth with.
Great point. Thank you.
So, Chaka, you recently contracted with Healthy Start as one of our childbirth educators.
Yes.
Can you share with us where, when, and what information you cover in the classes that you teach?
Yes. So I teach the classes at the Gifford Youth Activity Center in Gifford. I do them 2 times a month, and I teach 2 classes in one day. So I offer a morning class, and then I offer an evening class in person, and also Zoom. We recently added Zoom. And other classes are also available at the Healthy Start Coalition and also at the Women's Care Center, I think. We offer
Care Center for Women,
there. A Care Center for Women. So there's several different locations. And then the calendar is always posted on the Healthy Start website as far as the date and the time.
Great.
Oh, you asked what are some of the topics. So one of the classes is what to expect. That class kind of goes over the physiologic changes that you go through during pregnancy. And then there's also another class that we teach postpartum. And that's cool. We hand out CPR dolls and we go over infant CPR. So that's nice as well. So not only do you get the knowledge about how to prepare for labor and birth, but you also get knowledge about the postpartum period and how to care for a new infant.
Great. And I think that there's a huge misconception in regards to childbirth education that this is only for first-time moms, but that is not the case. It can be several years since you've had your baby or a year prior, and maybe you didn't attend childbirth education at that point. So we welcome anyone to come to these classes, and like we said, every pregnancy is different, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyone should come. Just like you said, it could be 7 years between your pregnancies and you forget everything. You forget how to care for an infant. You forget that toddler stage, and then you're like, oh boy, I'm starting back over. Every pregnancy is definitely different. An example is sometimes maybe your first pregnancy, you went into labor and your water broke. Maybe your second pregnancy, your water doesn't break. Every pregnancy is different. You might experience different things. Maybe your first pregnancy, you experienced heartburn, or maybe you gained a lot of weight. In this pregnancy, you don't have any heartburn, or you may have other symptoms that were just unfamiliar to you during the first pregnancy. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Janay, so this is food for thought, right? You're like going into that second trimester. It's been some time. So don't forget to sign up for those classes.
I know, shamefully, I've never even taken one.
Well, you know me. Now that you work with me, I'll be on you. And
Yes.
we're going to go back to the office after this, and you're going to sign up for some classes.
Yep.
So, Chaka, when you are encountering women and families, how knowledgeable are they about the developing fetus and the changes that will come throughout the pregnancy?
I think we all remember taking anatomy and physiology, so you kind of remember.
Not me.
But then when it comes back, you're like, oh, I forgot all of this information. So it's like learning all over again. So I think that like we forget about that part. So not to say we're not knowledgeable or they're not knowledgeable about the developing fetus, but we forget that part. And so it's new to them. Definitely.
I often say when women become pregnant, right, it's sort of like that fetus takes half of your brain cells with it during that pregnancy, and you are forgetting that you have this knowledge, and then putting it into practice is a whole nother beast.
Definitely.
So I think it's really important for us to discuss the postpartum period. And you and I know, being in the nursing field, that 60% of maternal mortality cases happen during the postpartum period. And we as women are great at taking care of our children, but often when the babies are born, we forget to take care of ourselves. So can you touch on, do you feel that moms struggle recognizing those post-birth warning signs and seeking the help for something like postpartum depression?
I think that moms do struggle because as a mom, you wear many different hats.
Yeah.
So you may be a wife, and then you're a mother, a aunt, a sister. So I feel like we struggle because I feel like as a woman, we feel like we have to be like there for everyone, and we have to make sure everyone is okay, and you kind of forget about yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel like we do struggle in how do we take care of ourselves postpartum. I'm a new mom, and how do I communicate with others that I do need help? And most importantly, like, how do we let others help us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Education is key, right? Those moms needing to recognize, okay, like this headache isn't going away, or I don't feel right. You know, it is, they need to advocate for themselves and participate in the programs that Healthy Start has, right? Like we have a nurse that comes into the home to assess you and the baby right after delivery and can recognize those signs and symptoms. It's okay to be truthful when you go to your postpartum period and talk about postpartum depression, because postpartum depression is real, and we need to normalize that and recognize that it's super important for women to advocate for themselves. If they're not doing that, then they're not able to take care of their kids in the way that they need to take care of them, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So Chaka, I'm just dying to ask you this question. So as a nurse, a grow doula, and a childbirth educator, when you take on your clients, whether it be someone that you connect with after a childbirth education class or one of your doula clients, is it hard to keep the three separate? Because I know, like, for instance, when you're a doula, you're supposed to, you know, not refer to any medical terminology or anything like that. You're supposed to refer them back to their provider, but you're a delivering nurse.
Right.
So how does that work?
I can distinguish all three hats that I do wear.
Okay.
So, but I love my background because when I am in the doula role and I am in that non-medical hat that I wear, then it's easy. It's nice that I get to kind of give them like a behind the scenes of like what to expect. Like if you're delivering at Cleveland Clinic Hospital and I work there, I can let you know that yes, your birth plan does align with the things that you want when you're at the hospital. Or I can let them know like just how many days to expect to stay, or, you know, I kind of sometimes will talk about the hearing test that we do or the 24-hour testing that we do or something like that. But yes, any medical questions or anything, I'm always able to redirect it. Like, you do need to call your provider, and anything that we talk about, any signs and symptoms, you do need to call your provider.
Well, I guess that's good to know, because like this morning I had a phone call from an expecting mom, and so she spoke with Maria yesterday. She had her meeting with her. Okay. And then she goes, oh, yeah, she said some lady named Tia was coming to my house. Is that who's going to sign me up for to have a doula? And I was like, oh, no, Tia's one of our in-home visitation people, and she's going to guide you through your pregnancy. And I told her, I was like, Tia's actually my in-home visitor. I was like, I love her. She's new. Yeah. But I love her so far, and everything's going great. I was telling her, I said, you won't start your doula in-home visits until about like 28 weeks. And then she goes, so she told me her situation, and I go, oh, I said, everyone loves Chaka. I go, she's a nurse and everything. So I said, I would go with Chaka if I was you. Yeah. So I'm always saying that. And, you know, I never, ever consider that you wear different hats.
Yeah.
And so like when you're in a doula client, you're not a nurse.
Right.
But I'm always like, yeah, go with Chaka. She's a nurse. She's probably has like more knowledge than all of us.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I became a doula, is because at work, even though I'm in my nursing role, if I have time and I have one patient, I'm in the room, I'm having them in different positions, I'm standing at the bedside with them, I'm just encouraging them, I'm empowering them. So that's why I was like, hey, as my side gig, I should like become a doula, you know? But it is hard, like when I do take on a doula client and then I'm at work when they come in, because you cannot plan a delivery.
Nope.
Unless it's a scheduled C-section, you cannot plan it. So it is hard when they come in and, now I can't be their doula. And, we kind of came to a conclusion, Kim and I, that, it's best for me not to be their nurse either, because then they're looking to me, because I was their doula. So.
Oh, so you can't be their nurse?
No, I can't be their nurse anymore.
It's probably best to have that separation, right, and that delineation, which I'm sure it's hard, but it doesn't mean that you can't go in them when they put their call bell on. And you're like,
I'm like, hey, or maybe I can be the baby nurse. I can be the baby nurse and catch the baby.
Okay.
Still like finagle my way in there, and then I always connect with the doula that attends the delivery and make sure that I can follow up and attend like those postpartum visits with the doula and check on them. And
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's really sad.
Well, because it is hard to, when you wear so many different hats, RN, grow doula, childbirth educator, sometimes it's those lines are blurred, right? And so in order to not put Chaka in that position, I think that decision was probably the best, right?
Yeah,
and it's
I
best for
agree.
the clients. And then you're able to utilize our on-call doula program, right? So it doesn't mean that they're not able to have a doula. And that's what I love about our doula program, is there's always somebody available. Because as you said so well, you cannot plan birth, right? We want to.
We really do.
We haven't figured that out yet.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh God. So Chaka, as a medical professional and as an advocate for improving maternal and child health in our community, in our county, what advice would you like to share with our listeners and viewers?
I would like to share that anytime in the community, especially if you're like an expecting mom or just during that perinatal period, if you hear about childbirth education classes, if you hear about clinics, or if you hear about anything in the community, just take a conscious effort to attend, because you come out and you learn so much information. And, moms who have attended childbirth education classes and they know what to expect, it prepares their mind mentally to go into that space. And also, statistics show that when you're educated, it decreases your chances of a C-section. It increases your rate of a vaginal birth. So that's what I get out of it. Go out, educate yourself so you can self-advocate for yourselves, know what to expect, and decrease your chances of having a C-section, because you're prepared, not only like mentally, but just physically and emotionally.
Right. And how are you going to know what to ask for if you don't have that knowledge, right? And being, in the bed, and it's the most vulnerable place to be, right? And having that knowledge, how to advocate for yourself. Your partner knows how to advocate for you. Spending many years at the bedside and being a labor and delivery nurse, you can clearly tell the individuals that have attended childbirth education classes and the ones who have not, right? Because those are the ones that come in with, okay, I want skin to skin. I want to have delayed cord clamping. I want to put the baby to the breast as soon as possible, or I want to bottle feed. I know who my pediatrician is, because we go over that in childbirth education. They come in with just a path. Right. And we as nurses, we want that for you, right? We do not want to be in the driver's seat. Right. We want you to be in the driver's seat, because then that allows you to have that power over your own body, your birth experience, and be able to walk out and say, I was able to have that knowledge in order to be able to, dictate to the providers what I want,
agree.
right?
Yeah, just to add on to that, whenever I'm meeting a first-time mom and I'm their nurse, like I always tell them, I'm like, hi, my name is Chaka. I'm going to be your nurse today. And I always say, like, you're my boss. I'm just here to help you through the process.
I love that.
And then they kind of like chuckle, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can see their face like, really? And I'm like, yes, girl, I'm just here to help you through the process. And so that's one thing I want the community to understand as well. And the expecting mothers is that when you come into the hospital, we're not there to like boss you around and strip away your rights. We are there to help you through the birthing process. So by you taking these childbirth education classes and coming in with your birth plan, we love it.
Right.
We know how to, you're giving us the blueprint of how you would like to be treated during birth, right? So I just want to make that clear as well within the community that, you know,
Yeah,
we
that's so well said.
want you to come in with your birth plan, be educated, and, you know, understand the process.
Absolutely. And I think Healthy Start has done a great job at offering different locations, different times,
Right.
Having an online portion. We offer classes in Spanish. And so I want everyone to, like, I want the rooms to be filled, right?
Yeah.
I want individuals to be on a waiting list for our childbirth education classes, and for us to start talking about, oh, we need to bring some more childbirth education classes on. So, you know, if you're listening to this podcast and you know someone that's pregnant or you're pregnant yourself, we are imploring you to just, you know, reach out and say, how can I get, and, you know, how can I attend one of these classes? And there's multiple classes. You know, we offer infant CPR training, we offer breastfeeding classes, we offer hypnobirthing, which is really, really,
That's a good one.
it's a very well attended class. And again, it allows, I love your statement, you're not the boss, right?
Yeah, I'm not the boss.
Yeah.
You're my boss. You're
Right.
my boss. We're just here to help you through the process. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Something else that the hospital has done a really great job with in many, many years is giving the power back to the patient, right? And if the patient comes in and they say, I just want an IV lock and I don't want continuous IV fluids, or I want to deliver in hands and knees, or I want to use a squat bar or a rebozo, or but you don't know about that unless you go get the education, right?
Right.
I mean, you're looking at me like sideways because maybe you haven't attended a childbirth education class, Janay.
But I do advocate for them.
I know.
And I also advocate for the hospital tours,
Yes.
so that
Great point.
Nice. Yeah.
the parents, the expecting parents, they know what the hospital has to offer and stuff like that when they go into the delivery room, so that they're not blindsided when it comes to a peanut ball, something as simple as that, or
Right.
you know, a birthing ball or something like that. So I do advocate for that stuff.
I know you do. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Chaka, you know, it's so, I have to tell you, I was very sad that Taylor wasn't able to be here.
Yeah.
But to know that I was able to be on with you today, you know, our history goes way back, and I'm so happy that we were able to connect from a Healthy Start standpoint. And, you know, when she got her master's in education and she knew that I was coming over to the Healthy Start side, she's like, we need to do more. And I want classes in the Gifford area. And I was like, okay, done. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Definitely did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to all of our listeners and viewers, if you're a resident in Indian River County and would like to participate in our free childbirth education classes, you can visit our website at www.irchealthystart.org, and you go up under, you can go up under the tabs, Our Ways of Support, and then it should be classes, Our Ways of Support, and then class schedule. Or you can give us a call at 772-563-9118, and we will get you connected with the person who could schedule you for the classes. And Chaka, we would like to thank you for joining us today, and thank you to everyone watching and listening to our podcast. Megan, we want to thank you for stepping in on behalf of Taylor.
Absolutely.
We do hope that she feels better.
Absolutely.
Because we need
miss
her
you.
in that office. Oh, God. We have now done 7 podcasts. Well, today makes our 8th one.
Wow.
And we're just so thankful for all the support we've received this far, because Taylor and I, we were a nervous wreck when we were starting this podcast up because we had never done such a thing before.
Right.
So with that being said, if you are a consistent viewer or listening, please always feel free to send us topics you'd like us to cover. And thank you again for joining us on a new episode of No One Told Me podcast with Janay and Tay, aka Megan. We look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Absolutely.